Along those lines, this is my mom moment. I want to offer you encouragement from that same next generation. As we speak, Jeff and my two sons are in Indianapolis in a speech and debate tournament. I got a text at 7 o'clock this morning. My older son just broke for regionals. He competed at about 7:30 our time this morning in the finals for, semifinals, quarterfinals? I don't know, he's the qualifying round for Lincoln Douglas debate. Okay. So I'm there twice a year. I come and ask you to judge this younger generation. They need your guidance. This group, there's about 200 of these students that go to each of these tournaments. We have 4 of them in Indiana, Wisconsin. I already heard it, they're awesome. These students are awesome, and they compete in 4 different states. And in March, the 3rd through the 5th, they will be in Joliet, Illinois. I need your help. These students need community judges. Throw up your hand if you have judged some of these students before. Would every one of you agree that this is the most incredible group of kids you've ever seen? Yeah, it's overwhelming. Let me read you what they are doing right now. What my son just finished doing was debate one-on-one, Lincoln Douglas debate. Now what they do in this style of debate, it's not what you see on TV, what we adults have to do for a political show. Believe me, these kids get into the nitty-gritty. First, they state, resolved, national security ought to be valued above freedom of the press. That is the resolution for this year. The person who is doing the affirmative, and trust me, they don't know if they're affirmative or negative until 10 minutes before they debate. The person who's affirmative will stand up there and give a presentation on why national security ought to be valued above freedom of the press. They will give a value so that you can determine whether that value is upheld through national security. And then the opponent will debate their value and why freedom of the press should be upheld. Those Lincoln Douglas debaters will debate for 45 minutes. It's phenomenal. All right, my other son does team policy. This is 2-on-2. They debate for an hour and a half. Their resolution this year is resolved that federal election law should be significantly reformed in the United States. The affirmative team will stand up and give a policy issue, such as all voter registration should take place by computer. And they will give evidence and reasoning for that. The opposing team, not knowing what that team is going to propose, then has to argue against it. They will go on for an hour and a half. That is your debate structure, Lincoln Douglas team policy. There are also 11 categories of speech. And that is phenomenal. If you are uncomfortable sometimes following debates because they do get flying fast and furious, go judge debate. Judge duo humorous, you will laugh forever. Judge informative, you will learn a lot. I have learned, speaking what tag teaming off of Jan, there were 5 students in Wisconsin last month, because I was one of the judges, talking about constitutional issues. My son, and they're debating right now, but they're in speech right now, but his speech is the 27 injustices in the Declaration of Independence and how they are solved in the Constitution. That's how in-depth these kids are going. One of them is explaining what inalienable rights are doing. It is phenomenal. Some of them, there are a few that are young and they might be in their first tournament. You give them a lot of grace and encourage them. But this is your next generation. I guarantee you, you will be optimistic and hopeful when you are finished judging these students. But we need a lot of you. So Cindy has been passing around the half-sheet flyers. If you don't see one on your table, find me afterwards or find my husband. Find one on a table. Please help us. You can sign up online. It's very simple. Come down and just judge one round. We need you. We need your guidance to help train them. They need to be able to speak to anyone. We know how important messaging is. So if you can at least come judge one round, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much.